Adab Namaste. Today we have come to Ms. Shazia Saleem's house. She is a counselor and a psychologist. Hello, ma'am.
Hello, Doyal.
So, can you please tell us a little bit about your background and what led you to choose psychology and counseling as a profession?
Okay, so basically, as you know my name, I'm a counseling psychologist practicing from 13 years now. And I deal with absolutely normal people. I am on this side by choice because I felt a strong need, even normal people, they need support. It is not always that people who are diagnosed or are the clinical cases, only they need support. Even normal people in day-to-day life, they are struggling with stress, anxiety, which cannot be captured in any report or in any paper. And who are the people who can provide support to these kind of absolutely normal people? So this is how my journey started. I wanted to support the parents, and then slowly, with time, I'm now completely on the counseling side. I deal with cases with stress, anxiety, emotional turbulences, work-life balance, relationship issues. And I have completed my master's in psychology. Apart from that, I'm about to complete a course called postgraduate diploma in family and marital counseling from Telangana Women's University. And yeah, this is my journey into the counseling side or the psychology side.
Okay, ma'am. What was the reason you chose psychology?
Some things we say that it is your calling or maybe it is destined. I never chose psychology to become a psychologist and make a career out of it. Basically, I was an MBA graduate, very passionate, working into HR side. But I got married at a very young age. I could not pursue my dreams, my career. So that's how I gave up on my career. I was not working. I have 3 children. I was a happy mother raising 3 children. And with the due consent of my son, you have just met my elder son, right? So there was a time in his school where he was identified as dyslexic.
Okay.
And though I was educated, I would say that I was a postgraduate even then. But after I have heard that word in Tare Zameen Pe and then for my son, I was not aware what is dyslexia, what is learning difficulties, how to deal with it, how to cope with it. I had no idea. I ran pillar to post. I went to so many doctors, and as a mother, I tried everything. But most of the places, the solution what I got was, you remove your son from the mainstream school and put him in a special school. But somehow deep down I was not convinced that everything is normal with my son. Why should I put him in a special school? Then I happened to meet a dyslexia therapist. I would proudly take her name. She is Afsha. She runs an institute called Rippleson, Hyderabad.
Okay.
She was the person who guided me. Yeah, this is absolutely even normal children with normal IQ can also have dyslexia or any kind of learning disability, and you don't need to put them in any special course. Only some remedials or little extra effort would help those children, and they face problem only in reading and writing. Rest everything would be absolutely fine.
Okay.
So then when I was taking my son here and there, she told me that why don't you start your career into this? Your communication skills are good. Now you have researched so much into this. So that's how my journey started. I did a course called Knowledge to Knowing in Specific Learning Difficulties.
Okay.
Then to support my career, then I started getting when I was doing my internship, I got an offer from a school to work as a school counselor. But somehow to be ethically correct and morally correct, I did my master's in psychology. Then I kept on upgrading myself. I have done various small courses from so many things into counseling and guidance, and currently, as I told you, I'm about to finish a course. This would be my 3rd master's.
Okay.
So I keep myself upgrading because this is a field where you need to keep yourself upgrading. It is, this was never taught to us. We have to learn this.
Definitely, you have to be in times with the current scenario.
Exactly.
Ma'am, what are some challenges that you face in this field?
The major challenge what I face is a lot of denial.
Okay.
When I started, now things are far better, Doyal, but when I started, and especially in a school setup, parents come with a lot of, hurt when a call goes, because I can empathize. That empathy comes very naturally to me. I still remember the day I got called from the school that there is, we need to talk something about your son. The way I reacted and I rushed to the school, I can completely empathize with the parents. But, the denial that ऐसा कुछ नहीं होता. See, this is our perception कि ऐसा कुछ होता नहीं होता है. We cannot 100% deny कि इस तरह की चीजें नहीं होती. Because if we have not experienced, that doesn't mean that they do not exist, or something if we have not seen, if I have not gone to a place, if I have not been to America, that doesn't mean that America doesn't exist, right?
Yes.
So a lot of issue what I faced during my initial days was, a lot of denial.
Okay.
In the acceptance part, there is something wrong and this can be, still I face, but there's a lot of awareness now when comparatively.
Okay. So ma'am, how do you assess a client's need and develop a treatment plan?
See, as I told you, I am not on the clinical side. I am a counseling psychologist. I take a detailed case history and then I try to identify how long, the issues or problems have been there in the, client, and what are the set patterns. Is it related only to, emotional dysregulation, behavior and certain environmental factor, or is there, something to the medical side or the clinical side? And based on that detailed case history, if I feel that some medical and clinical thing is not required, I based on their thing, I plan my intervention plan, I design the therapy for them. Sometimes some cases are like mild, some are moderate, some are very severe. Depending on that, the sessions goes on. And if I feel that this is something difficult, or medical advice is required, or clinical support is required, I redirect them to a medical professional or a clinical psychologist for further on-paper assessments. I don't do any assessments.
Okay, ma'am. What kind of steps do you take to ensure confidentiality and build trust with your clients?
A very important question, Doyal. See, basically, we all people into the mental health industry, we all have maybe a little added moral and ethical responsibility. So we all counselors follow an ethical principle of confidentiality, where we do not discuss the name, identity, or the issues shared by the client beyond the therapy room. So it is 100% confidential, and this is my work integrity. It is something I'm being truthful to my own profession. Like police people, they take an oath, doctors have their something. So in the same way, we also have this responsibility of building trust with the clients and telling them this, that we maintain 100% confidentiality only. By law, we are allowed to break the confidentiality only in one scenario, where we are able to sense harm to the self or any other person.
Okay.
Rest, it is 100% confidential.
So what do you do when you realize that a client is potentially at risk of self-harm?
See, we first try to inform the immediate family member.
Okay.
And then, if it depends upon the severity, if required, to some legal authority as well.
Okay. Is it necessary to go legal?
By law, yes. If it is like it is in a severe case, like if you are able to identify, then yes. Otherwise, informing, we all, when we are doing the therapy, we take a small consent form and we ask them kind of a nominee person in case of any risk, whom should we, emergency contact number. So basically, 90% of the time we inform the emergency contact number, but you never know, you have to be prepared. So by law, these are the two people whom you can inform, either the immediate emergency contact number,
Okay.
or some legal authority.
Okay. Ma'am, how do you maintain your professional boundaries with your clients? Because as a counselor, I'm sure you will have to empathize with them. So how do you maintain that?
Yes, Doyal, this comes with, practice. In your initial days, it would be difficult, but as you go on, you learn. Because see, mental health is still, though I have, people say that, oh my God, you're so educated. Yes, I am. But, all my experiences on the field, I have learned everything, on the ground with a lot of trial and error.
Okay.
So maintaining professional boundaries is, very important for yourself. Like, sometimes it happens that once you're out of the session, suddenly you get a message, ma'am, I want to talk to you. I want to connect with you right now. But that is out of my professional boundaries. If I keep connecting like with every client after the therapy session, what time would be left out for me, my family, or my day-to-day? So I have to be maintain my professional ethics and boundaries. That is a must if I really want to have my practice.
Ma'am, one more question. How do you manage to maintain your, manage your emotional demands, maintain that? Like, Because you are connecting on an emotional level, of course. So
Yes.
that how do you not manage to get burnt out?
Overwhelming and burnt out, is there a little bit of professional hazards of transference, or sometimes getting carried away would also be there. But if your support system is in a right place, and in my initial days I really had good mentors.
Mhm.
So one of my mentor told me that first try to apply things whatever you are learning, because I used to get excited when I was when I was reading psychology and studying. "Yare, ye bhi hai. This is how, okay. I never thought this way. ऐसे भी हो सकता है." And all that. She used to tell me, first apply these things on yourself and then start working with the clients. You will see a difference in your own personality, and your therapy sessions would be so effective. So I completely go by that now. So most of the time I see to it that I have a proper support system for myself. I have a proper self care plan for myself. Like for many things, being on a feminine side, I'm like very apologetic these days. Like if somebody tells me, "Yeah, ye nahi kare, aap wo nahi kare," I'm also a human. If I'm working, I cannot be there 100% everywhere. So maybe I might be missing out on few or other things. But I have to accept, my family has to accept that thing. If I try to be everywhere 100%, I think I would be exhausted and burnout. So I know my limitations. I know till where I can work. I know till where I can support my family, how much time I can dedicate to them. So that now I have clarity on everything. So a lot of burnout and overwhelming is taken care of.
That's beautiful, ma'am. What advice would you give to someone who's just newly entering the field of counseling?
I would say be little patient. And again, I go by the advice which my mentor gave me. Try to apply things, and we all as humans have empathy, and these things are naturally, but you need to practice them a lot. Active listening, empathy, trust building, this will slowly come with practice. And don't hesitate, there are going to be certain tough cases, there are going to be certain easy cases, some cases you might not be able to handle. And first, accept yourself as humans, identify your own strengths and weaknesses, and then you're good to go.
Ma'am, these days we see many marriages are failing and there are a lot of divorces cropping up. What do you think is the reason behind this?
See, the main reason behind relationship issues is unrealistic expectations. Two people in a society, they don't come together for companionships. They have, n number of reasons. Ke proposal अच्छा है शादी कर लो, रिश्ता अच्छा है शादी कर लो. And you don't know, basic, they don't know for what they want to come together. So unrealistic expectations from both the sides. लड़का कुछ expect करता है, and again a lot of over information. Our young generation is exposed to so much of social media, where every man expects a Katrina Kaif, and every girl expects a six packs ab like Hrithik Roshan. And the very first day जब expectation is good thing, तो cope करने में कोई कर पाता, कोई नहीं कर पाता. तो we have to be mindful. Marriages are important, and marriage is not a solution. First we need to, as in a society, every problem solution is लड़की है, बात नहीं सुन रही, हाथ से निकल जा रही, शादी कर दो. लड़का है, घर लेट आ रहा, काम नहीं कर रहा, शादी कर दो. शादी is not a solution. शादी or relationship or marriage is a new beginning, where two people have to come together with their 100% on their physical self, emotional self, and financial self. So it is a combination of many things. It is not just one gala function, or a big fat wedding and then everything will be rosy. No, you have to work hard on that relationship. So realistic expectations and a little bit of mindfulness and owning the responsibility of a relationship will help solve many problems.
Okay, ma'am. Unrealistic expectations से एक question मेरे को आ रहा है, how do you avoid not having expectations? It's very difficult.
Of course, don't avoid having expectations. You should definitely see, as a girl, as a boy, you have all the right to expect certain things from your partner. But realistic one, not the unrealistic. I'm talking about the unrealistic part.
Madam, you as a psychologist, what do you think are your strengths and weaknesses in your practice?
Okay, my strengths and weaknesses would be strengths. I would say, I have become a very different person. The only day I am not mindful or maybe not emotionally stable that day, when I go back to my old self, that I would say that is still a weakness which I keep working on. So I have to be very careful, conscious, and mindful. And the day I feel that I am not, I try avoiding not working on that day.
Okay, okay. That's nice, ma'am. How do you see yourself growing? What are your professional goals for the next 5 years?
There is a lot to do in this field. I told you, as a mother, I gave up on my career. I never thought that I would restart my career, having 3 kids, getting involved with them, and all those going through so much, on my personal side. But when I started working as a counselor, touchwood, I would say I was never out of work. Even if I did not wanted to work, I got calls getting requirement, and all my mentors. Now that we have so many people in this field, we have so many young people choosing it mindfully. That I really feel, because as I told you, I never chose this field mindfully.
Okay.
Agar maybe when I did my graduation, I was doing BCom. When I took CEC, my parents faced a lot. कि बच्ची पढ़ नहीं रही है, अच्छा नहीं पढ़ती, इसलिए CEC choose करी. But I've done BA in psychology in my days. I guess my parents would have gotten heart attack then only. So now we have so many people. So yeah, I have lot of professional goals. I'm planning for my PhD as well.
Okay.
I feel that emotional regulation is something very important. If we can work on that on a grassroots level, it can change the society to a great extent. So planning for my PhD, but still not able to manage many things. But yeah, 5 years down the line, I would see myself at least midway my PhD.
I wish you all the best, ma'am. I hope you get it as soon as, whenever it has to happen.
Thank you.
Ma'am, can you speak a little bit more about emotional regulation and what it means?
Yes, definitely do it. The emotional regulation term is a very technical term which we don't use in our day-to-day lives. Now we are hearing a lot about emotions, regulation, and everything. So emotional regulation is basically how we channelize our emotion, how we are bringing up our children. And emotional regulation also happens at a young age. I'll give you a very simple example. Just like when a couple gets this news that they are pregnant, they are becoming parents. The first thing comes to their mind is कि बच्चे को यहाँ पढ़ाएंगे, ये स्कूल में पढ़ाएंगे, उसको ये बनाएंगे. ठीक है? The very first thought comes to a parent's mind is this. At the same time, this thought should also come कि उसको एक अच्छा इंसान बनाएंगे, उसको एक अच्छा safe environment देंगे, and will take care of the behavior part of the child. We are responsible for the schooling and the other materialistic provisions. We are as parents, as responsible adults, we are even responsible for their holistic growth. तो emotional regulation वही होता है कि आप बच्चे को young age से कैसे सिखाते हो कि मतलब सही तरीके से चलना कैसा है, how to behave, telling thank you for small things, telling sorry if somebody is hurting. I'll give you a very small example of emotional regulation, which is very common and I give it many places. So when young children, साल 1.5 साल के आपने देखा होगा घर में ना, when they come running, वैसे भागते फिरते हैं बच्चे. So they just come and they get hurt with a table or some piece of furniture. Mostly what we see, the elders in the house, बच्चे को बोलेंगे don't cry, don't cry. Then the table, then the furniture, तूने इसको मारा. From there, that emotional dysregulation happens, start taking place. That is the scene. कि बच्चे को लगता है कि कैसे भी तेरे मेरे भाग सकते हैं. It is furniture's duty to not come in between. I can run anyway. So at that point of time, I know the child is hurt. उसको थोड़ा सा physical proximity दो, hug that child and tell them कि Baba, this is the furniture, this is the piece. It is going to stay there. You have to walk or run mindfully. You are responsible for not getting yourself hurt. It is not the responsibility of, some lifeless things that they will move out of your way when you're running. So this is how, the training of emotional regulation, this is just an example. There are n number of cases. जैसे कि बच्चे को भूख लगी तो ठीक है, जब तक उसको बात करना नहीं आता समझ में आता है कि होता है. But after a certain age, we need to train our children. When the child is hungry, they need to ask. Otherwise, it is an association, it is a pattern. Even at the age of 50, the child will cry if they are feeling hungry. Yes. So it is okay if you're angry, it is okay you're upset, it is okay you're excited. But you have to channelize your emotions in a right way, express it in a right way. If you're happy, you cannot start jumping and misbehaving. At the same time, if you're angry, you cannot yell at others, you cannot hurt others. So being in charge of your emotions has to be taught at a very young age. That's what I told you. Na, okay, I want to work on this, emotional regulation from the grassroots levels.
Okay, ma'am. Maniji, there's a fully grown adult now. They don't have the knowledge of emotional regulation. Oh, what advice would you give to such a person?
That's the reason we see so many emotionally dysregulated, adults around us. Chuti chuti baaton pe you see road rage, people, using bad language, abusive language. Again, I would just give one advice. Recently, I've read it somewhere. If you have to choose between being right or being kind, please be kind. You will automatically be right. So somehow, मेरे को बहुत दिल को लगी वो बात, and even I'm trying to be, rather than being right, trying to be kind with myself and people around me.
Ma'am, have you ever faced a case where the client is resisting to therapy?
Most of my cases, especially in school, as I told you,
Okay.
there's a lot of denial. Like people say, "नहीं ऐसा हो ही नहीं सकता."
How do you deal with that?
See, I can, just assure them, I can tell them that until unless but a person is ready, therapy doesn't work. Because see, I'm a support system. Any counselor or the counseling services is a guidance and support. And support can be given only when you give your hand to me. If you're not giving my hand, I cannot support you. So we can try spreading awareness about, mental health concerns. And as I told you, I chose to be on a counseling side, on a non-clinical side, because even normal people need help. If you have, मैं थोड़े common life examples इसलिए use करती हूँ so that it makes easy. अगर आपको बुखार आएगा तो you will directly go to a cardiologist or a neurologist. एक general physician के पास, एक घर के पास, के डॉक्टर के पास जाओगे ना.
हाँ जी.
तो in the same way, अगर if you're not feeling like बहुत बार गुस्सा आ रहा है, you're not feeling yourself, there is something wrong, you can reach out, take professional help from a counselor, try to identify. As I told you, if it is a clinical thing or a medical thing, I'll redirect you there. Otherwise, in few sessions, I'll try help you cope and you're good to go. It is as simple as that. लेकिन awareness spread करना बहुत ज़्यादा ज़रूरी है.
Ma'am, अभी पिछले 10 years में have you seen any changes in the trends in mental health industry?
Yes, खास तौर पे post COVID, people have realized the importance of emotional and mental health because they got some time out of their busy schedules when the entire thing was locked. सब जब अपने घर में बंद थे ना, working on their relations, working on their emotions, and many people felt what it is to be with your family. Many people lost their loved ones back to back. They have seen so much in that period, and I can see a lot of change in the mindset of people. People are more open on talking about mental health, discussing mental health, and even reaching support. It has changed to a great extent.
And how potent do you think or how effective is arts and drama as a type of therapy?
See, as a therapy also, it is good, but I would say if we can, inculcate a little bit of, art and drama in our day-to-day lives, in our children's lives, especially younger generation, it works wonder. It helped them to, the way I was telling about, emotional regulation and expression, drama therapy and art help them to express themselves, the way they want to. It helped them in their self-confidence, self-esteem, and a higher self-worth. Yes, we can also express, we can also perform. People think that अरे क्या time waste है drama कर रहे या क्या time waste है painting कर रहे, but it will bring out your creative thinking and your artistic side, which is very important for all of us. It gives us a lot of courage and confidence.
Okay. Ma'am, is there any message or advice you would like to give to the youth today?
Yes. See, सोशल मीडिया और एनीथिंग ब्लेमिंग टेक्नोलॉजी के हमारे बच्चे बात नहीं सुन रहे या बहुत ज़्यादा सोशल मीडिया पे है. आई वुड नॉट से कि देखो सोशल मीडिया से पहले ब्लेम किस पे था, दोस्तों पे था या किसी और चीज़ पे था. तो इट इज़ नॉट करेक्ट टू पुट अ ब्लेम ऑन टेक्नोलॉजी. यही टेक्नोलॉजी है जो हमें चांद पे भी लेके जा रही है, यही टेक्नोलॉजी है जो हमारे यूथ को बर्बाद भी कर रही है. तो इफ़ यू यूज टेक्नोलॉजी माइंडफुली एंड टू योर बेनिफिट, there is no harm in entertainment. लेकिन you should limit your entertainment. You cannot entertain yourself 24/7. Use mindfully, be on all the platforms, but be self-aware. Be mindful of your time. Be mindful of yourself and your surroundings. Then अरे यार आजकल की youth बहुत ज़्यादा समझदार है. They have access to many things. They have more knowledge. They are more exposed to things. So we need to trust the younger generation and allow them to be. And taking a step back for an older generation is very important, because yes, they are born into this era. They are privileged. We can't take away that privilege from them. But we can definitely, teach them how to use it mindfully and to their benefit. This is the only message I would give to the youth. Do everything, but know your boundaries and in moderation.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you.
One last question. What do you think is the most rewarding aspect of your profession?
The most rewarding thing, Doyal, I would say, when I get, a message after a long time, or maybe, when my clients say that, ma'am, it really helped me, like I'm really doing well in my life, that is the most rewarding thing, I would say, because see, I always charge, I very rarely I do, free session, because I take a time from my family, from myself, and then I give it to it. So, and I also feel that, anything which comes for free is not counseling, it turns to an advisor, it will not have any value attached to it. So, more than the monetary benefits, the main rewarding thing what I feel is that when, my clients somewhere outside there meet me, they see me, or sometimes, children from my old schools, they come running to me and they greet me and they say, ma'am, and you told something in the group session, ma'am, that I worked on it and it really helped me. Like for me, I talk this only day and night. But people, taking that and applying it and getting a solution, that is very rewarding.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you for your time. I think we had a lovely session today. It was an honor speaking to you.
Thank you so much. I'm also very honored that you guys are giving so much of importance to mental and emotional well-being, and we are able to spread awareness because of these kind of sessions. Thank you so much for the platform.